Hi, Langan here with my animals. Right now we are looking at the 40-gallon breeder, which I have turned into a all mutt guppy tank because I had these guppies breeding in a beautiful community tank and they were doing well. All of these adults were born in that community tank, but it was getting pretty overstocked, and I thought it would be really interesting to have a tank of just guppies and just really see how that went. And I started that by moving over just one pregnant female and one juvenile female. And all of the little babies you see in here now are from the singular female's birth. Now, guppies don't necessarily give birth to all their babies at once. The way they breed and reproduce is actually really interesting. I may do a video on it sometime, but basically, even though you see little baby guppies in here of different ages, up to several days, obviously, that is all from the same mama. Now, the juvenile came to age and she does now look pregnant. I went ahead and caught the three most beautiful males from the community tank and moved them over here. This guy is actually from Michael's fish room, the red-bodied one. But this guy next to him, oh, come on, focus, focus. Sorry, guys. Nope, that's not doing it. Anyway, so this beautiful guy, who you can see has multiple colors and this wild split tail. Oh, there's a good focus. He was bred right in the community tank, as was this beautiful guy back there. So I'm really excited to see what some of these babies look like as they start to grow older and color up. And I do plan on going ahead and trying to catch as many of the guppies that are in the community tank now and moving them over, especially now that there's been some time for these guys to possibly genetically vary a little bit. So many babies from one birth. Wow. So when keeping guppies, I have found that the best thing for them, like the most important thing for keeping healthy guppies, is plants. It is so much easier to have these really big healthy births like this if you just plant your tank as much as you possibly can. And that's what I did when they were in the community tank with much more competition and a couple of fish that, you know, would actually maybe nibble at some babies, is I just had so many plants in there that maybe those fish got some babies sometimes, but tons of babies still survived. Another thing about keeping guppies is you do really want to, they are a relatively easy fish to keep. They are, I mean, oh, they breed like guppies. They say that for a reason, you know. But I would say that they do best in a tank that is aged well, a tank that is maybe at least 6 months old and is really, really established. Because a lot of times when you bring guppies in, I mean, from just your average pet store, they're not going to be the strongest guppies. They're going to have been bred in a pH that's really, really different than yours. And so that's going to be hard for them at first. But if your tank is just really, really thriving, enough of those guppies are going to make the adjustment to your pH and your water that they will start making more babies for you. And once they get going, like once they start breeding and living in your water, in your tanks, it's amazing because they're born in that tank. So those are their natural conditions. Like the pH that they do best with, the style of care, the water they do best with is probably going to be your care. Obviously, there are some exceptions. You're going to want to have water within a certain pH range. You're going to want to keep nitrates below 80. But once they're breeding and they're breeding in your water, in your setup, that's the setup they're used to. And that's the setup they were born in. So you get some really hardy, beautiful fish. I hope everybody is having a great start to 2021. Thanks for joining me in viewing my guppy tank. You can see I am dealing with some algae and snail issues. Figuring it out, but it's there. Nothing that'll hurt the fish, just not super pretty to look at. So many snails. Somebody was telling me they bought snails like this, like ramshorn snails intentionally the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'd have given you some. I'll accidentally give you some. Snails on my mail or something. Anyway, I think that is where I am going to end my little guppy care and 40-gallon breeder update video. Please let me know your thoughts on raising and breeding guppies. I know I have a lot of friends that do this, and a lot of them know even more than me. So if you have questions, feel free to ask them down below. And, friends, if you see someone asking questions and I don't know, tap in for me. I'll try to send people to your channel. Thank you. Love your pets and they will love you back.